the best bet gauntlet. Tough week last week, big bounce back opportunity for us in this one. This week, I mean, listen, if you listen to any pros, if you follow any pros, if you follow the numbers on these books, there's a lot of contests people enter where you enter 5 picks every week and you get to sit out a week. You get to choose a bye week for yourself. A lot of pros are taking this as their bye week.
I don't blame them.
I don't blame them. This is a tough
not us.
week to bet. We don't take breaks.
We do not.
Stay trying to make money. And like we said, we've not had a week where we performed poorly below 500 as a show since, I think, I calculated this earlier in the week, I think since week 8 of last year. So if you're playing the trends with us in the best bet gauntlet, we had a bad week last week of below 500. We're due to make some money this week. So bet along with us. I have the first pick this week. And with that first pick, going with the homer pick, make it 9 out of, excuse me, this week 10? This week 9?
This is week 9.
Week
so
9.
8 out of 9.
8 out of, well, yes, 8 out of 9 because Titans have had their bye. Thank you. 8 consecutive Titans playing weeks where we've taken the Titans game in some fashion. I'm taking the Titans +3 at Pittsburgh.
And I'm sorry, Titans fans here, but I'm not taking the other side tonight. I'm just not touching this game.
You're not out on the Titans. You just don't want to touch the game.
I just don't want to touch this game because you are right. Mike Vrabel is the underdog king. However, Mike Tomlin is also just as good as Mike Vrabel. There are only 3 coaches in history who in the last 20 years have had a winning record as an underdog of over 500. Outright. Mike Vrabel and Mike Tomlin are 2 of those guys. However,
it's the immovable object.
The thing that scares me and that might push that over the hill, right, is that Mike Tomlin has Kenny Pickett, who is 6-0 against the spread all time in night games, which does not bode well.
I mean, a random stat for
random
sure, but it is a stat.
But it just grosses me out, and I just want to stay away from this game.
All right, so who's your first pick?
My first pick, however, and we talk about this all the time, right? The theme of the show this year has been catching the falling knife this season. There is a falling knife, like a falling real sharp knife. Okay. And then there is a falling plastic knife.
Like a butter knife.
Yeah, like a butter knife. Okay. And
which knife are you trying to grab?
I'm trying to grab the butter knife this week. Taking Houston -2.5 because even though they're really not on a losing skid, losing to the Panthers in a game where you score less than 15 points.
It's tough.
It's a little bit of a butter knife. It's a little bit
first
of
Bryce Young win of his career.
Right?
First win of the Panthers season.
It's a little weird, but look, I think Houston is the play here at home once again. Todd Bowles' teams, even though he's like one of the most profitable head coaches against the spread in the last couple years. Well, guess who he had the last 2 years? He had a guy named Thomas Brady. Todd Bowles' teams have struggled mightily off a loss, and that's what they're coming off of. They are 18-32 straight up, 19-29-2 against the spread in this spot, including a 2-9-1 against the spread with the Buccaneers in that spot. I'm expecting a bounce back game here for CJ Stroud, who continues to get more of that offensive line back. It's looking a lot healthier. It's giving him a lot more time to operate in the pocket. Therefore, I'm going to take Houston this week -2.5.
For my second pick of the week 9 best bet gauntlet, I'm taking Kansas City in Germany, in Deutschland. Give me KC -2 versus Miami. Pretty simple handicap here. Mahomes 19-6-1. ATS is a dog or a favorite of under 3 points, which this meets that criteria. So it's an auto bet for me. I think that it's a massive bounce back spot, right? They had a everything goes wrong game last week. Mahomes had the flu. They were in the cold and the snow. 5 turnovers in that game against Denver. I'm not taking the travel schedule into my handicap. I don't really subscribe to those things, but yeah, very simple here. Mahomes wins these games when he is favored by under a field goal. I'm taking him to win outright by a field goal. Give me the Chiefs.
With my next pick here, I'm going against the Sharps this week. The Sharps love the Green Bay Packers. However, Matt Stafford or not, I'm taking the Los Angeles Rams +3 this week. Because look, no Matt Stafford.
Who's Green Bay to be favored by 3?
Who are they
Green
at
Bay
home,
to be favored by 3?
Right? You know what?
To the
you know what does
probably.
matter?
Yeah.
Jordan Love. And Jordan Love has just not been good. You watched this game last week.
If you saw Brian Gutekunst, GM came out this week and goes, I'm not sure if Jordan Love's the future.
Exactly.
No, the rest of us aren't either.
Packers came out and looked absolutely flat that entire game last week. Only got back into it because Jaren Hall kind of had to keep turning the ball over. This time you get a veteran in there who has some skill guys who can really tear it up. Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua against that secondary who has not looked like the Packers secondary of old. Yep. And even if Jordan Love continues to stink and they have to put Sean Clifford into this game, I don't know if I'm very confident in Sean Clifford. I went to high school with Sean Clifford, and I don't think I'm very confident in his ability to play this week, especially against Aaron Donald and that Rams defense,
No,
who has
no.
looked sneaky good at times.
Sure.
I'm going to take the Rams with the points going to Green Bay this week.
All right, with my third pick of the best bet gauntlet week 9, I'm taking Washington in the hook. We locked this in earlier in the week. I'm not sure you can get the 3.5 right now, but it's Washington plus 3.5 at New England. If you can't right now, wait maybe later in the week. Definitely get it at the 3. I'm still comfortable with it at the 3, but we lock. That's why you got to follow us at Easton Freeze, at JT_Runke, at Hot Read Pod on Twitter. We lock these numbers in when we think that the line's going to move, like it did in this instance. Very simple handicap here. 2 very bad teams. Washington, perceived as a team that is selling because they sold their 2 best defensive assets. First of all, speaking of who are they? Who is New England, to be fair? I mean, I've been betting New England try to catch the falling knife. Did catch the falling knife in the past couple of weeks, but now I'm back to saying who the heck is this team to be favored by over a field goal at home? What are we talking about? There's 4 units in this matchup. 2 offenses, 2 defenses. There's only 1 good unit. It's the Washington offense. Will Bill Belichick's defense give them a hard time? Probably, but not, harder than what Philadelphia gave them, harder than what some of these other teams they feel like. I just don't see this as a spot where New England can hang. I think that getting that hook is massive, and it makes me really confident in this bet. One stat for you: road dogs of less than a touchdown against home favorites who are averaging 18 or fewer points per game are 64% all time. So a very good trend bet here, a good field bet for me. I like Washington plus 3.5 at New England.
This week,
we move.
Baltimore plays the Seattle Seahawks, another team that I faded last week because I was pretty confident that they had met their match. And I was also a helmet interception bobble away from covering that one. Look, I think Baltimore is maybe a top 2, maybe the best team in the league right now.
They're on firing all cylinders.
Everything is clicking for them right now. They are at home. Seattle's having to travel to the East Coast here. And once again, their best team that they played this season in terms of EPA is that Cleveland team last week with a PJ Walker team, right? They played a very hurt Giants team. They played the Bengals before Joe Burrow got back to being Joe Burrow. They've played the Rams. They've played the Cardinals. They've played teams that haven't really been able to score points. Now they're going up against a Baltimore Ravens team who I think is just going to continue to be dominant in this game here. I'm still pretty comfortable taking it under the touchdown, so give me the Ravens -6.
With my 4th pick of the week 9 best bet gauntlet, keeping it super simple here. Las Vegas -1.5. The Raiders at home against the New York Giants. Very simple handicap for me. It's the fired coach bump, right? Gotta love the fired coach bump. Got to love having them at home as a short favorite in this one. Danny Dimes apparently rushing back from injury to play in this game. I think that's actually a good thing for this Raiders defense. If they can force him to turn the ball over, which he's very apt to do, I think that they win this game outright. We've seen it time and time again. The fired coach bump is a real thing. This is one of those instances. Give me the bump for the fired coach. Give me this Raiders team -1.5.
With my next pick here, and I believe I'm 500 this year on these picks, but once again, we're coming back to the JT vibes pick here. I'm 1-1 on these, so tail this one with caution. However, I'm taking this one because I'll be at this game this weekend. Of course, the Titans are playing on this week, so it's kind of a little bit of a bye week for a mini bye week. So was allowed to indulge myself in some pleasures, and I will be at the Cincinnati Buffalo game. And you would have to think I'm crazy.
Did you go to this game last year?
I did go to this game.
How?
I'm hoping they play more than a quarter. I'm taking the Bengals -2 in this game. Joe Burrow has not been good at night, but I got it. I'll be there. They're checkering the stadium kind of like Neyland does for the Tennessee Vols.
Okay,
it's going to be an electric atmosphere.
Welcome to the jungle.
Yeah, welcome to the jungle. It's going to be a lot of emotions in this game. The crowd is going to be roaring, and I just want to be there, and I want some skin in the game. So I'm taking the Bengals -2 this week.
All right. With my last pick, we're going head-to-head on this one, JT. Big NFC East battle. I'm taking the Birds. Go Birds. Philly -3, hosting Dallas. Very simple handicap here to me. Dallas is a team, and I've said this before, they are a team that loves to fool everybody into thinking that they are a good contending team because they have a proclivity to murder bad teams. They're very, very good at beating up on bad teams. They convince you by beating up on those teams that they are a good team, and then they go and they play contenders like San Francisco a couple weeks ago, and you see what happens. They get humiliated, they get knocked down a peg, they get exposed. I think this is another. I'm going to continue to subscribe to that theory until they prove me wrong. I think Philly is going to win this game by a touchdown. I like getting that that field goal. And I would love, keep an eye on this if you're betting along with us. Wouldn't shock me because I know a lot of the sharps, including this bozo over here on Dallas this week, wouldn't be shocked if you get 2.5, get under the hook. Then I really love this bet. But JT, explain why you're wrong about the Cowboys. Excuse me. Explain why you're betting the Cowboys. I'm very sorry.
Yeah, I'll subscribe to the theory that the Cowboys are just better than the Eagles right now. I think that is the case right now. Defense from top to bottom, I think, is playing better right now. The defense is a little banged up. The Dallas team is really good at the pass. They're finding their stride right now. This is the time to ride Dak Prescott, I think, and bet him. Currently leading the league in EPA for the last 3 weeks. Like, I'm not saying Dak Prescott and this is the end all be all, but like this is the time of the season where
top 5 quarterback Dak Prescott.
where you get that narrative,
Yeah,
right?
do,
and I'm going to ride that until it doesn't work. Look, them being the dog here, I think they have the better defense right now. I think the weapons are comparable. Obviously, AJ Brown is a game changer and can really change the game on the snap of his fingers.
True.
So this has a big play potential, but right now, I think even Jalen Hurts is a little banged up, and I think that this Dallas front seven with Micah Parsons is going to be able to get after him a little more than they've been able to in the past. So, yeah, I like Dallas +3 this week.
All right, to recap our best bet gauntlet from week 9, JT taking Houston -2.5 at home against Tampa Bay, Cincinnati -2 at home against Buffalo, the Rams +3 on the road at Green Bay, and Baltimore -6 at home against Seattle. I'm taking Tennessee +3 at Pittsburgh, Kansas City -2 at home in Germany, excuse me, at home in Germany against the Miami Dolphins, Washington +3.5 on the road at New England, and the Vegas Raiders -1.5 at home against the Giants. And then, of course, we're going head to head. I've got Philly -3 at home against Dallas. JT taking Dallas plus those 3 points.